You're sitting across from your 8-year-old at dinner. They just told you about their day. You smiled, nodded, said, "That's great, sweetie," and went back to your phone. It felt harmless. You were listening. But here's what you didn't see: the micro pause before they looked down at their plate. The way their voice got a little quieter the next time they spoke. The small, silent decision they just made about whether their inner world matters to you. Most parents think emotional distance is created by big traumatic events. Divorce, neglect, abuse, and yes, those leave scars. But the kind of distance that shows up in adulthood, the kind that makes your grown child polite but unavailable, pleasant but unreachable, that's built in moments like this. Tiny, forgettable moments, repeated hundreds of times. The truth is, you don't have to be a bad parent to raise an emotionally distant adult. You just have to be distracted, dismissive, uncomfortable with feelings, or so focused on behavior that you forget to see the person. And the scariest part, you won't know you're doing it. Here's what usually happens. A child comes to you with a feeling: fear, frustration, sadness, excitement. And instead of meeting them there, you manage the feeling. You fix it. You minimize it. You redirect it. You're fine. Don't cry over that. Big kids don't get scared. Why are you so upset about something so small? It feels efficient, practical, like good parenting. You're teaching resilience, right? Teaching them not to overreact. Teaching them the world doesn't revolve around their emotions. But here's what's actually happening in their brain. Every time a child expresses a feeling and gets dismissed, their nervous system learns that emotional honesty is unsafe. That vulnerability leads to rejection. That the best way to stay connected to you is to hide what they actually feel. So they do. They stop crying in front of you. They stop asking for help. They stop telling you when something's wrong. And you think, great, they're tougher now, more independent. But what you've actually created is a child who's learning to survive you, not trust you. And by the time they're 25, sitting in a therapist's office trying to explain why they can't open up to people they love, they won't blame you. They'll just say, "I don't know." I've always been like this. There is a concept in attachment theory called emotional attunement. It's the ability of a caregiver to notice, name, and respond to a child's internal state, not just their behavior. When a parent is attuned, the child learns that their emotions are real, valid, and safe to share. When attunement is missing, the child doesn't stop having feelings. They just stop showing them. And over time, they stop knowing how to show them to anyone, including themselves. This is where most emotionally distant adults come from. Not from parents who are cruel, but from parents who were emotionally unavailable. Not neglectful in the traditional sense, but absent in the moments that mattered most. Psychologists call this relational trauma. It's not about what happened. It's about what didn't. What we're talking about here is something I call attunement over achievement. It's a relational shift, a way of parenting that prioritizes emotional connection over behavioral compliance. It doesn't mean you stop setting boundaries or teaching discipline. It means you stop using your child's emotions as the enemy. It means you start seeing feelings, messy, inconvenient, irrational feelings, as the bridge to closeness, not the barrier. Here's how it works. Step 1. Pause before you problem solve. When your child comes to you upset, your instinct is to fix it. Stop. Take a breath. Your job in that moment is not to solve the problem. It's to show them their feelings are worth your full attention. Get low, make eye contact, put your phone down. Let them feel you seeing them. Psychologically, this activates their ventral vagal system, the part of the nervous system responsible for safety and connection. It tells their brain, you are not alone in this. That alone changes everything. In real life, this looks like sitting next to your crying 6-year-old without saying a word for 30 seconds. Just being there, you'll feel the urge to talk. Resist it. Let the silence do the work. What you're teaching them is that their pain doesn't scare you. Step 2. Name the feeling before you redirect the behavior. If they're throwing a tantrum, screaming, or acting out, don't jump straight to consequences. Say what you see. You're really frustrated right now. You feel left out. You're scared this won't work out. This is called co-regulation. You're lending them your calm nervous system while their brain is flooded. You're also teaching them the language of their inner world. Most emotionally distant adults were never taught that language as kids. In practice, this sounds like, I can see you're really angry that I said no. That makes sense. You really wanted that. Then you hold the boundary, but the feeling got validated first. That's the difference. Step 3. Respond to the need, not just the noise. A child who's clingy isn't manipulating you. They're communicating a need for safety. A child who's defiant is often communicating a need for autonomy. A child who's dramatic is learning how to process big emotions in a body that doesn't know how yet. Your job is to decode the need underneath the behavior. Because when you meet the need, the behavior shifts naturally. When you only manage the behavior, the need goes underground and shows up later as emotional shutdown, people-pleasing, or avoidance. Step 4. Normalize the mess. Let your child see that you're not afraid of their hard emotions, that you don't need them to be happy all the time for you to feel like a good parent. Say things like, it's okay to be sad. I'm not going anywhere. You can feel however you feel and I'll still be right. Here, this is referencing yourself too. Most of us weren't allowed to feel this way as kids. So when our children feel big feelings, it triggers our own unresolved stuff. That's why we shut it down. We're not comforting them, we're protecting ourselves. But when you can sit with your child's discomfort without needing to fix it, you break a generational cycle. Without this method, your teenager comes home visibly upset. You ask what's wrong. They say nothing, you say, okay, and move on. They go to their room. The distance grows. You tell yourself they're just becoming independent. But really, they're becoming alone. With this method, your teenager comes home visibly upset. You ask what's wrong. They say nothing. You say, I can tell something's off. I'm here if you want to talk. No pressure. You don't push, but you stay emotionally available. Maybe an hour later, they come back. Maybe they don't, but they know the door is open. And that changes everything. Here's what's happening in your child's brain when you practice attunement. Their prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for emotional regulation, doesn't fully develop until their mid-20s. Until then, they literally need your nervous system to help them calm down. When you stay regulated in the face of their dysregulation, you're teaching their brain how to do it on their own. You're wiring them for emotional resilience. Not by telling them to toughen up, but by showing them that feelings don't have to be solved. They just have to be felt. Over time, this creates what's called a secure attachment. And securely attached kids grow into adults who can be vulnerable, ask for help, set boundaries, and maintain close relationships. Not because they're naturally good at it, but because someone showed them it was safe. Now, this doesn't work overnight. Day one, your child might still melt down. They might reject your attempts to connect. They might test you harder because they're not sure if this version of you is real. That's normal. You're changing the rules of engagement. It takes time for them to trust it. By day 3, you might notice they cry a little less long, or they come to you a little faster. By week 1, they might start using feeling words you've modeled. By month 2, you'll notice they're not shutting down as much. This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. Picture this. 6 months from now, your child comes home from school. Something happened. They don't tell you right away, but they sit next to you on the couch. They don't say anything, but they're close, and then quietly they start talking. Not because you forced it, not because you interrogated them, but because they know you'll listen without judgment. They know their feelings won't be too much for you. That's the relationship this builds. One where your child doesn't have to choose between being honest and being loved. This isn't just about managing tantrums or getting through the hard years. It's about building a foundation of emotional safety so deep that your child carries it into every relationship they ever have. You're not just raising a well-behaved kid. You're raising someone who knows they're worth being seen, worth being heard, worth staying close to. Remember that moment at dinner? Your child telling you about their day, and you only half listening? Now imagine you put the phone down. You look at them. You say, tell me more about that. Watch what happens. Watch their face light up. Watch how much longer they talk. Watch how they lean in. That's not a small thing, that's everything. Next time your child comes to you with a feeling that seems inconvenient or irrational, try this. Pause. Name it. Stay with them. You don't have to fix it. You just have to be there. And then come back and tell me what shifted. Drop a comment. Let me know what you noticed. Because I guarantee you, once you start practicing attunement, you'll see your child differently. And they'll feel it. If this landed for you, share it with another parent. We're all just trying to do better than we knew how to yesterday. This is mind grooming. I'll see you in the next one.